Jordan Peterson sat down with Shawn Ryan, and this is one of the better, more emotional interviews that I've seen him do in a while. In the clip I'm about to show you, Peterson talks about why his message has resonated so much with young men, and then fuses that with what it means to follow Christ and carry your cross. Actually, what he says here reveals why Christianity is failing to keep and attract young men, and this is the way to do it. Here's the clip, and then I'll finish with one very important thing to add that Peterson did not mention here.
This is why the work I've been doing has resonated with, in particular, with young men. Because it's a call to adventure. It's a call to adventure through responsibility. And no one's doing that. We haven't done that with young people for 60 years. And so there's a huge hole there. And I see this wherever I go. If I talk about the relationship between responsibility, adventure, and meaning, people get it right away. You think when you're raking yourself over the coals of your conscience and you're searching in your soul for something you've done that's good so that you don't have to take yourself out on the despair and nihilism front, you're going to be looking for times when you made real sacrifices on behalf of something higher and that was successful, when you were of service to other people, when you were good for the people that you loved, when you went out of your way to accomplish something difficult. You'll be able to satisfy your conscience with those memories. Well, what if you just lived like that? That's the Christian call. The Christian call is to bear maximal responsibility. That's what the cross means. It means to pick up your cross and walk uphill. What's the cross? Death, pain, malevolence. That's what it is. It's unjust death. That's the cross. What does it mean to bear that? Well, it means to bear the weight of life responsibly. Why do that? Because it's deeply, well, first of all, it's good. And just that in and of itself might be sufficient. But it's also, it's in keeping with that, it's deeply meaningful. I tell young men, it's like, find something difficult to do. You need that. You're not built for comfort or pleasure. Like if that comes along, good. If you have a day where you're comfortable and there's some things around you that give pleasure, have some sense and enjoy it. But don't be thinking that's what your life is aimed at. That's contemptible. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. And if they orient themselves in that hedonistic direction, there's nothing in it but shame.
The adventure of your life, the life that you are desperately looking for, is found, as Peterson says here, in taking on as much responsibility as you are capable of. We don't talk about this as Christians, and we miss the mark by failing to do so. But to mimic, follow, and do as Christ did is the model for ideal human living. Peterson talks here about what accepting your cross means, which he says facing death, suffering, malevolence, and hell. It is to do those things, but it's also to accept and take on the purpose for which you were created, to go all in and never compromise on your God-given purpose, regardless of the consequences. Christ came into this world for a singular purpose, and that was to accept, carry, and die on his cross. That is your singular purpose as well. Christ, by carrying out and fulfilling his purpose, saves the world. When you carry out and strive to fulfill your purpose, you too contribute to the saving of the world. Each one of us that carries our cross and gives up our life for it serves as another example of the good and love, and moves humanity away from suffering and hell. Every one of us, you were made, designed, wired in some unique way to make some contribution, do some work, carry some cross, take on some important responsibility. This is the purpose of your life, and you are needed. Imagine what you could be if you refused to compromise and went all in on your God-given purpose and became the person that God, your Creator, made you to be. This is the way to overcome the suffering, misery, and hell you and the rest of the world are experiencing. You could contribute to moving humanity and the world away from hell and closer to heaven, which is the place where we all desire to be. This is the way to life, and this is ultimately what Christianity has to offer.